Hello everyone, welcome to the NBA Preview. I am the analyst at TheAnalyst32 on Twitter, TheAnalyst32 on YouTube. Give us a follow, give us a like, subscribe if you would like as well. Also feel free to comment about the team in the comments below. So, today we are covering one NBA squad that I have been really looking forward to getting to for this season. They are the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, they're currently being coached by Sam Mitchell, thanks to their current head coach, who's over 70 years old or so, getting cancer, and we wish him all the best. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, and I probably could have looked it up. But anyway, so looking at the roster for this particular year, you have the likes of Ricky Rubio at point guard. He's a guy who really needs to stay healthy. He has not been a guy who does stay healthy. Even when Kevin Love was there, he was only averaging about 30 games a year. He's a guy who can be a consistent passer, a consistent producer of assists in an offense. He is not a good shooter, to say the least, and he's not a good free throw shooter, to say the least, which makes him more of a Rajon Rondo type, which isn't exactly a good thing in today's NBA. However, he has enough talent around him that I would not be shocked if he actually plays pretty well to start the season off this year. Coming in at the 2 spot, originally I had Kevin Martin starting at the 2. That is not the case anymore. As of yesterday, Zach LaVine was officially stated to be the starter for this upcoming season for the Minnesota Timberwolves at the 2 spot. So, we'll go over him instead. Zach LaVine, athletic, dunk contest winner, guy who really needs to work on his shot, which is kind of sad. We've already gone to 2 players who really need to work on their shot. But you can see he has talent. There were times last year where he could really light up the scoreboard, produce a lot of highlights that you would see on SportsCenter pretty frequently. However, he still has a lot of room to grow. So we will look to see that this particular season. At the 3, traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Kevin Love, the one, the only, Andrew Wiggins, a guy last year who proved that really Cleveland could have used him. He averaged 16.9 points per game for Minnesota last year. He averaged almost 5 rebounds per game for Minnesota. He averaged over a steal a game for Minnesota as well. He's going to be a guy you need to watch out for in fantasy basketball this year. He's going to fill the stat sheet all over the place, and I expect to see that this year. He did last year as well. I expect to see his field goal percentages to go up. I expect to see him become a more efficient three-point shooter to spread the floor for the likes of their first overall pick in this past draft, which we'll get to him in a moment. I expect him to be a guy who's fighting for a 3rd All-NBA team spot. He has the talent to do so. Will it happen? Who knows? You're probably going to see the fact that the West is so stacked that the All-NBA teams are going to be filled with players from the Western Conference. But Andrew Wiggins has a chance to break that mold. So anyway, starting at the 4, and I think this is only going to be temporary as he tries to help with that coaching staff. I have Kevin Garnett starting at the 4 for a little while. He's going to be a guy who really helps Karl Anthony Towns grow and become a better player. He is somebody who has proven himself in the league. I really don't have to say that, especially being that we have all seen what Kevin Garnett can do. We have seen him win championship. We have seen him win Eastern Conference Finals. We have seen him really bring Minnesota to some of their greatest heights, if not their greatest heights. as a player. And hopefully he continues to bring that, even if it's just for a little while longer. He's a guy now who can barely play 20 minutes a game, but I think they have enough talent off the bench coming in to really rectify that and play well. At the 5, their number 1 draft pick, Karl Anthony Towns, a guy who has all the talent, who showed last year in the NCAA tournament and just in NCAA basketball, that he was easily head and shoulders above the rest, which is very interesting that, Kentucky continues to produce big men who have all the potential and talent in the world between him, Boogie Cousins, Anthony Davis. I expect Karl Anthony Towns to be playing center for him this year, but you could also see him move into the 4 spot if they want to stop giving Kevin Garnett minutes and start Pekovic at the 5 as well, or even a Shabazz Muhammad in there. So anyway, looking at the bench for this Minnesota team, you have the likes of, as I mentioned earlier, Kevin Martin. He averaged over 20 points a game for Minnesota last year. He is a big-time scorer, not much of a defensive threat, as sadly teams as Oklahoma City and Houston figured out over the years. But he is a good guy to have coming off the bench. He is a guy who can be a consistent scorer in the NBA and has proved that. So look for him to get some decent minutes off the bench in a more of a Jason Terry type role in terms of scoring and things like that. Also, coming off the bench, the one, the only, the old man of the NBA, and that's saying something with a team that has Kevin Garnett on it, Andre Miller. Hopefully he provides a veteran presence behind Ricky Rubio and to be a consistent contributor. And we'll find out. I mean, the guy's been in the league forever. At the 8, we have, and I am going to completely butcher his name. Actually, I'm just going to say his last name. It's Deng. And no, not Luol Deng. I'll put the spelling up here so you guys can see it. He has some potential. Last year he showed a lot of glimpses. Look for him to get some playing time off the bench this year, especially if things don't start off as well as they expect for Minnesota. At the 9, a guy who, was a fantasy sleeper in most leagues. You could pick this guy up in free agency pretty often, and he would fill in well for you, especially if you were needing points and rebounds. Shabazz Muhammad averaged 13.5 points per game and 5.1 rebounds last year, and a guy who had some limited minutes. He's going to be a good option. I mean, he provides some really solid depth for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, some things to look at here. Questions. Who stays healthy? Ricky Rubio gets hurt very frequently. Kevin Martin's been known to get hurt occasionally. Andrew Wiggins has fought through injury over the past few years. Kevin Garnett is an old man. So is Andre Miller, even though he's one to be an Iron Man in the NBA. So, will they still stay healthy? Who steps up for this team? This is a year where all the young stars have their potential to shine. So, look for the likes of Andrew Wiggins, look for Zach LaVine, and Karl Anthony Towns to step up this year and hopefully play really well. For this particular year, I think my prediction is, though I had initially had it written down as a 34-win team, I have changed my tune on this team. I honestly think they're going to win 36 to 37 games this year. So, take it as it may, that drops them to about 46 to 45 losses. This is a team that has the potential to be fighting for an 8 seed in the playoffs. Granted, there's only really a couple of teams in the West that really don't have that capability. And I may actually be a hypocrite and say otherwise later. This team has the potential. It's whether they get together, whether Sam Mitchell can make this a cohesive unit with the likes of Kevin Garnett helping him out coaching, and where they will go from there. So, this has been the NBA preview of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, follow me at the Analyst32 on Twitter. This is the Analyst32 YouTube channel, and I will see you guys in the next NBA preview. Thanks for watching.